Hello everybody, I am Leah Wilson-Felis. I'm going to do an hour-long all levels yoga class today, so find your space wherever you like to be in your home. Roll out your yoga mat. I like to have a blanket that I'm sitting on, and I do like to have a block around me, and sometimes I like to have a dog around me too because they bring good energy. So Jameson will join us today. And so find your comfortable position, however that might be. My comfortable position is always seated like this, but if that's uncomfortable for you, then you might even sit in a chair off to the side or sit with your legs out straight, however you like. And so today I want to offer a moving mudra. We've done this before. Mudras are the hand positions that we do in yoga. It means gesture or seal. And so we're going to do a seal of all the elements because we are made up of all of the elements. And so we're going to move from our thumb, from index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, and taking a breath with each one. And so go ahead and let your hands just rest on your legs. And you're going to touch your thumb to your index finger and take a deep breath in. So as you breathe in, breathe out, and then you're going to move your finger to the next finger, so your thumb to your middle finger, and take another breath. I'm doing a Zoom video, so I'm going to add someone to our line here. There we go. Good morning, Gay. Join us, find your seated position. We are going to be moving our fingers through the mudras here. So many of you are on another finger, and so you want to be breathing with each finger. So now my thumb is touching my pinky finger, and I'm going to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I'm moving it back, my thumb back to my index finger. So take a deep breath in and out. Move your thumb to your middle finger. Breathe in. And breathe out. Move your thumb to your ring finger. Take a breath. Move your thumb to your pinky finger. Take a breath. And we'll move back to index finger and do it again at your own pace. Let's do it a fourth time. So the next time you move to your index finger, I want you to think of an intention, a dedication for this next hour. Breathe in, think of that intention, a prayer, a word, and exhale. Move your thumb to your middle finger and do the same thing. As you're breathing, create that mindful intention. Move your thumb to your ring finger. Take a breath and instill that intention, that dedication into your practice, into your body. And last breath, doing that moving mudra. Just a great way to settle the mind, settle the body, and start to create space for your yoga practice. And so, with that, let's expand our fingers and wiggle them out a little bit. And we're going to just move our arms in all directions here. So as you inhale, sweep your hands up towards the sky. And as you breathe out, drop your hands down towards your lap, down towards your knees. And we'll do that a couple times. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to float your hands back down. So just matching your movements to your breath. Feel free to adjust the way that you're sitting at any time. So if you're ever uncomfortable, adjusting, changing it. One more breath just out in front. Letting your arms come down back to your lap. We'll sweep our arms out to the side and do it 4 times out this way. Inhaling, lifting the arms up. Maybe your fingers touch overhead. Exhale, ground all 10 fingers on the ground beside you. Let's do that again. Notice if there's any tightness in your shoulders as you move, if there's any clicking happening in your joints, if there's any resistance in your breath, in your movement. Last time. Drop your fingertips down, slide them even further back, land on your hands flat. So I'll show you from the side angle. So my hands are flat behind me, fingertips are turned backwards at an angle, and I'm going to try to squeeze my shoulder blades back, open the throat. Let's bring ourselves back up to center. Again, if you ever need to switch your seat, feel free to do that. Now I'm going to bring my hands back behind me so that they're interlaced like this, but behind my back. And we'll start to squeeze our fists back behind us, opening the chest. Again, you can look up. And now we're going to move into our neck. So bring your hands like this over towards the right. So your right elbow bends out to the side and your left elbow binds to your low back. So my hands are still interlaced right here next to my right side of my waist. And then we're going to lean our head from right to left. Ooh, notice when you go to the right how intense it is. So maybe do that rock from side to side 2 or 3 times, and on the 3rd time that you lean your head, the 4th time maybe, just drop your head to the right and hold it there. And take 3 more deep breaths with that mindful intention that you created for your practice today. And remember, if this feels like too much, you can always go back a little bit and ease up on yourself. Start to draw your chin down towards your right collarbone. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring your head back to center whenever you're ready. So if it's feeling really juicy and good, you can hang out there longer. Let's switch our arms to the other side. So now your right elbow is binded to your low back, your left elbow is pointed out to the side. And let's just lean our head right and left. Oh yeah, I can feel that on the right side now when I lean my head to the left. So I'm just going to test it out a couple times, lubricate my neck, and then we'll lean the head over towards the left. And feel the right side of your neck stretching out, perhaps closing your eyes, and we'll take a couple mindful breaths. Bringing back into our mind our intention, our dedication. Perhaps it comes in the form of a prayer. Maybe it's just one simple word, like ease or focus. Start to draw your chin forward towards your chest, but still leaning towards the left. See if you can get some fibers in the back of your neck. And whenever you've had enough, release your hands completely, drop them out to the side, lift your head back up. Let's extend our legs out long here. So I'll turn to the side so that you don't have to look at my feet. So lengthwise on your mat. And then we're going to drop our left hand down into the floor off the side of our mat. And the right hand will reach all the way up to the sky, but you do want to keep your right sit bone on the floor. Now I'm going to slide my left hand out just a little bit more and bend into my left elbow so that I can start to ease into that left side and stretch the right side of my body. Look up towards the ceiling. Look down towards the ground to the left. Look back up. Reach up to the sky. Take a big inhale when you get there, and we'll pull ourselves back up to center. We'll do it to the other side, of course. So drop your right hand off the mat. Walk it out an extra hand print. Bend into that right elbow. Don't let your left sit bone lift. Reach your left hand up to the sky and lean over as far as your body allows. Feeling that stretch through the left ribs, the left waist. Look up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Look down to the ground. One more time. Looking up. Looking down, and we'll fan ourselves back up with our next inhale. Great work, everybody. Sweep those hands all the way up to the sky, looking up there as well. And as you exhale, follow your hands down to your ankles, your feet, your shins, your knees, wherever you are, rounding in your back. So you can kind of see how I'm rounding over. And that's fine. You can stay rounded. If you have a straight back, that is good too. They're both really good options. So maybe try both. Maybe keep going back and forth like cat and cow. Lubricating all of the joints in your spine. Rounding the back. Lengthening the back. And if there's one that serves you better, it feels better, then you can certainly stay like that. Like for me, with my back straight, I feel more hamstring stretch. And when my back is rounded, I feel more of my back stretching. So from here, let's start to roll up. And we'll start to stretch our hips just a little bit here. And that way we can move along into some flows. So, coming back forward for you. And so let's start to bring our legs into a Baddha Konasana. That means feet together, knees apart. And it's okay if your knees are up here. If you have some pillows around, you can invite those in underneath your knees, some blocks. I like to grab onto my toes. Warm them up a little bit. You could grab onto ankles, shins. All we're going to do is sit up as tall as we can and let our shoulders release from our ears and start to lean our belly, lean your chest towards your feet. And we'll start to breathe a little deeper into that pose, just kind of melting your chest forward. Keeping your back straight, keeping your shoulders down. Awesome work. With your next inhale, roll yourself back up to center. Okay, so from here, all we're going to do is try to lengthen the legs out. So if you're vertically on your mat, you can just take your feet kind of off the edges of your yoga mat. If you're a little bit more flexible than that, then you could bring your legs a little wider. So you choose how wide you want your legs to go. So I already feel a stretch right here, and that's what we're going for, anywhere in the inner thigh. You don't want to feel this in your knee, and you don't want your feet to roll forward, so try to keep your feet up. So you will have to sit on the floor for this move. So go ahead and walk your hands forward just a little bit. If you feel like that's just impossible to go forward, then bring your hands behind you. So my fingers are tented like this behind me, just on the fingertips, right behind the hips. And I'm pressing through the fingers. Shoulders drop down. And then start to tilt forward. And that's plenty of stretch for me. So you have to kind of gauge how much stretch you want to feel. Close the eyes, soften the brow, and start to breathe a little deeper, and perhaps remembering that intention, once again, that mindful intention, so that your practice has a purpose today, other than just being mindful of your body and your breath, maybe creating something a little bit more true to your heart. Let's take one last breath like this. And we'll bring ourselves up. Slide your right leg forward. Bend your left knee and bring it up. And we're just going to cross that left leg all the way over. Now if you're a little bit further in your practice, you can always kind of cross that right leg under two. My trick is that if both sit bones are not rooted on the floor, then you don't want that right leg to be folded. So if your left sit bone is lifted, then you might unfold your right leg. So from here, we're just going to give our left leg a hug. Hug it into your chest. Let your shoulders relax down. Lift up through the crown of your head. I immediately start to feel my left hip opening. Maybe start to add a gentle twist, and that might increase the stretch. So I'm twisting towards the left. Lean your head to the right, to the left. Look up, look down. Nice work, everybody. If you'd like to go into the full twist, then you can take your right arm and swing it up into the sky and hook it on the outside of your left leg. It could be your upper arm, elbow, lower arm, and you can help yourself a little deeper into that twist if it feels good for your back. If there's any kind of pain, you might just stay where it feels good, stay where it feels safe for your body to remain in that twist. One more deep breath here. So good for the organs. And we'll start to unwind over to the right and give ourselves a little counter twist. Maybe a couple push-ups off to the right. Nice work. So let's just switch our legs. So if your legs are like this, you can do this fancy little move where you just kind of like pretzel them the other way. But what that is left leg would be straight, right leg is crossed over. That's the beginner option. If you'd like to go a bit deeper, you can always lean to the left and fold that left leg underneath. Let's just hug our right leg. So give it a good hug. Pull it into your chest. Relax your shoulders down. Start to feel that stretch throughout your right hip, your right thigh, and maybe even adding a gentle twist to the right this time. Draw your shoulder blades down and back so that you've got nice tall posture even while you're here in this twisted position. If you need some support, you can always drop your right hand down. And of course, if you'd like to go deeper into that position, swing your left hand up to the sky, hook that left elbow, left forearm, left wrist on the outside of your right knee, and help yourself a bit deeper into the pose. If you feel like you could lift your hands and bring them together, it's a nice prayer twist. Awesome work. Let's lean our head to the right, lean it to the left, look up, look down. Release the hands and start to counter twist over to the left. Hands come off the mat, couple push-ups. Nice work, and we'll unwind our legs. We're going to stretch the backs of the legs once again, so just legs straight out. Again, I won't have you look at the bottom of my feet, so I'll just lengthen out on my mat here. Let's sweep those arms all the way up to the sky. Round over top those legs, reaching for toes, ankles, shins, knees, wherever you happen to land today. Bowing over, really feeling that stretch wherever you need it. You'll feel it where you need it. So it could be the backs of your knees and those tight hamstrings. Could be your hips, your low back. It could be your shoulders even. Start to draw your chin to your chest. When I do that, I feel it deeper in my hamstrings and even in between my shoulder blades. And if that feels okay, you can spend another breath or two there. If your body is yelling at you, telling you to come up, then that's what you should do. And let's roll ourselves back up. From here, let's just kind of flip over, and we will be, I'm going to admit someone else here. Hello there, yoga time. So we are coming to hands and knees. Grab a blanket, grab a cushion, maybe a pillow underneath your knees, and hands come onto the mat as well. So this is just called tabletop pose. Hands are flat. We don't want to be cupping the floor, we want to be spreading into the floor, pressing down through the center of our hand, so not necessarily through the heel of the hand, but through the center of the hand, right underneath the knuckles. From here, we're going to start with a deep cat position. So round your back really hard, look back at your thighs, push down through that mat. Nice work, everyone. And then we'll release the belly through the opposite direction, lifting through the tailbone, lifting through the crown. Let's take a big inhale. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, push the spine up to cat pose. Be mindful of how your back feels. Inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. Adjust however you need to. So if your low back feels very delicate, like, it could spasm, then you might make those movements a little bit smaller and really just focus on the shoulders instead of the hips, vice versa. All right. So let's continue here. This is called tabletop, so come back to that. Hands and knees are grounded, and we're going to extend our tabletop. So I'm going to ask you to lift your right hand forward past your head and kick your left foot back. So opposite arm, opposite leg. So right arm, left leg. You can lift your left foot, toes up into the air, leg up into the air. Or you can keep it grounded, up to you. Let's take one more breath, and we'll drop it down. Try the other side, so it's going to be left arm reaching forward, right leg reaching back. So if you have your camera on, that's where this comes in handy, as you can kind of look at your alignment, and it looks pretty cool to extend that arm and leg out. So let's drop it down, we'll try it again. On the right arm, left leg. Nice work, everybody. 2 more breaths, just holding it, looking down at maybe a spot on your yoga mat. One more breath. Dropping the hand, dropping the knee, and left arm, right leg. Warming up our core, warming up our hip. I have a lot of pressure in the hand as well, so I'm going to try to lift off my hand and use more core. Last breath, and we'll drop it down. Let's come into a restful posture like child's pose or puppy pose. So puppy pose is you walk your hands forward Drop your chest, drop your elbows, your forehead down to the ground. So the hips are lifted, heart and head are melted. Child's pose is very similar, except that you are kind of seated back onto your thighs, onto your shins on the floor. And the forehead and the hands are still trying to reach forward for the ground. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side in that child's pose, in that puppy pose. And from here, let's roll ourselves up to our tabletop once again. And we're going to add on to that last move. So these are called tiger crunches. Pretty fun core work. So we're going to reach our right arm forward, left foot back. Take an inhale and really reach your toes, reach your fingertips. And as you exhale, draw your right elbow towards your left knee underneath. Inhale and reach them out. Exhale, elbow towards the knee like a crunch. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, crunch. One more. Exhale, crunch. Drop your right hand, drop your knee, left arm, right leg. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, crunch, elbow to knee. Two more. You can do more if you want. And then we're going to rest for just 3 breaths or so. Child's pose or puppy pose. Take the weight off your hands. Great work. One more variation for us, rolling back up. This is more of a stretch than an exercise. So if this is difficult, a yoga strap comes in handy. So I'm going to have you extend your left leg back. Bend your left knee up. And then try to reach back there and grab your left foot with your right hand. So you can see where that strap would come in handy. You can wrap the strap or a sock around your foot and grab onto it. Try to lift your toes. Lift your hand up to the sky. Nice. And let's drop it down. Other side, right leg kicks back. Bend your right knee. Look back over that left shoulder and see if you can reach your left hand back for that right foot. If that's difficult, just keep trying. Don't worry about getting it today. Reach the toes up and we'll release it down. Come back to your tabletop, tuck your toes, and start to roll up into your downward facing dog. We'll start to gently pedal out our heels, so press your left heel down, press your right heel down, maybe shift your hips a little bit from side to side. If you have a blanket or a pillow underneath where your knees are, you can kind of fold it up and roll it out to the side. And we'll start to walk our feet forward and walk our hands back towards our feet, coming to a forward fold. So notice in my forward fold, I never have my legs totally straight. They're always bent. I'm going to start to try to let my head go a little bit deeper there. Maybe shake your head, no. And yes. And then just let it go. Soften your knees a little deeper. Now let's start to walk our hands up to our shins. And up a little higher on our shins, right under our knees. Start to lengthen your legs, but don't lock them, so know the difference. Straight is not locked. straight still has a little bounce to it. And then we're going to press up with our arms on our shins, draw our shoulders down, away from our chin, away from your ears, straightening out the back. One more breath, kind of like you're sucking it in through the belly, and then we'll exhale, bending through our knees. Sweep your arms out like a bird, and let that air, let those arms carry you all the way up to standing. Hands will reach up to the sky and come down to our heart center. Release those shoulders. Reach your head up to the ceiling. Feet down into the floor. Shoulders down away from your ears. Now that we're here, this is called samastiti. It means same stance. So you want to make sure that you have equal weight in both feet. Your shoulders are back. Your head is pulled back like your chin is gently being tucked towards your throat. I think about ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, and knees over ankles. Take a deep inhale right here and create or think of your intention, something to dedicate your practice to today. Maybe it comes in, again, the form of a prayer, a simple word, maybe it's just a thought. Focus, breath, balance. Press your palms together, lift your elbows out, and take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, the hands come down to the sides of your body, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the hands up to the sky like you're reaching high up for the light. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands come out to the side. Flatten the back. Reach your hips back for the wall behind you. And start to fold forward towards the ground. Now if it's hard to reach the ground, that's what blocks come in handy for you. So you can bring a block into your practice. Reach for the block instead of the floor. And the block has many levels, which is nice too. So wherever you are is totally fine here. You might be already wiggling the legs a little bit. Most people just naturally go for that. And so I like to just straighten left leg and then straighten right leg, but bend the left knee when you straighten the right. So I'm always doing the opposite with the other leg. So as I straighten my right leg, my left knee bends. And I'm just giving each hamstring a little attention here, tuning into whether there's one that's tighter. Just take another breath or two here. With an inhale, again, we'll bring our hands to our ankles. Maybe walk the hands up to the shins, under the knees. Lengthen the legs, lengthen the spine. Look straight down at your toes or down at your yoga mat and draw those shoulders down, away from the ears. One more breath. Suck it in this time. And then we'll exhale and bend our knees a lot. Walk your hands forward, walk your hands back. We'll end up in that downward facing dog shape where you're in an upside down V. Your focal point is your toes or your ankles. Great work. Really lift through those hips behind you like there's a string attached to your tailbone. And from here we'll roll up to our tippy toes. Roll forward over our hands like we're going to do a push-up. If you'd like to, you can drop to your knees, lowering down by bending your elbows to your ribs, all the way onto your belly. So take your time, make your way to your belly. It's not always as graceful as we would like it to be. And so from here, a heart lift of your choice. It could be just like this, just looking forward. If you want to really raise up into that back bend, you can put some pressure on your hands, cobra or upward dog. No matter where you choose to be, keep those shoulders down, away from your ears. One more breath there, lowering down with the exhale. We're going to find our way up to tabletop. So adjust if you need to. Tuck your toes. Inhale, roll up to downward facing dog. Alright, from here, look forward to your hands and just start to tippy-toe forward. And walk your hands back, combination, so that you end up back in a forward fold. Knees are bent in a forward fold. Great. Tuck your chin underneath, dropping the crown of your head down towards the floor. And once again, we'll sweep our arms out to the side like we're going to fly. And then let the air pick us up under our arms and sweep us all the way up to the ceiling like you're reaching up for the sun. Move slow. Exhale, hands come to your heart center. Gain your balance. Trust the feet. Couple deep breaths as we recalibrate. We'll get ready to do another one of those, this time a little bit faster with our breath. Inhale, here at your heart center. Exhale, draw your hands down to the sides. Inhale and sweep your hands all the way out and up overhead. Exhale, soften through your knees, hips reach back as your heart and your head dive forward. Inhale and lift halfway, hands to your shins. Move slow and breathe slow. Exhale, come back to a forward fold, bending your knees. Start to walk your hands forward. Exhale and walk your feet back. Inhale, roll up to your toes. Exhale, fold forward over your arms. So it's not a fold, it's more of like a layout into plank. Lower yourself down to the floor. When you get there, take a very intentional inhale, lifting your heart, looking forward, cobra. Exhale, rolling back down into crocodile on your belly. Tuck your toes, roll up to hands and knees, inhaling. Exhaling, coming back to downward dog and readjusting your feet, your hands. Let's take just a full breath here in the position. Inhale, roll up to your tippy toes. Exhale, start walking your feet forward. Inhale, start walking your hands back to your feet. Exhale, find your forward fold, just hanging out here for a moment. Inhale, lift your hands to your shins, flatten your back, reach your tailbone back, crown forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms out like a bird. Let the air catch you and bring you up all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more breaths, just hanging out right here in Samasthiti, remembering your alignment, remembering chin back, shoulders back. Feet aligned, grounded. Great work everybody. We're going to add a lunge on each side here. So let's do a half salute. So that means we're going to get to downward dog. Inhale here. Exhale, hands to your sides. Sweep your hands up with your next inhale. Exhale, reach your tailbone back. Bend your knees and fold over top your legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine out, flatten the back, shoulders release down from the ears, And then exhale to fold back forward. Alright, so here's where we're going to step back to our downward dog, so you can walk your hands forward, step your feet back. And this sets us up with the right amount of space to step our right foot forward. So if you like, you can lift your right foot up to the sky first, stretch out the left hamstring a little bit, and then the right foot is going to swing underneath the body and just step forward. So we just want it more forward than the left foot. So I'm going to just come on up to standing. Don't worry about the space that you've created yet. We're going to do that now. So if you didn't step that far forward, you're only about this far, we're going to step our right foot closer to the top of the mat. My left toes are out to a side. They're at a 45-degree angle. There's also the option to lift your heel if you want to. So again, it's just a personal choice. If this twists your knee too much, keep raised up on your toe. We're going to soften into our right knee. And when you soften into that right knee, you feel the stretch in your left hip flexor. So from there, you can stay low with your hands on your right thigh. Or you could bring your hands up to your heart if you're feeling good with balance. Maybe your arms reach out to the side or up to the ceiling. The choice is yours. Take a big inhale here. As you exhale, soften, deepen that lunge with the right knee. Getting stronger, feeling a little burn, feeling a little shakiness in there. Great work, everybody. So this is known as Warrior 1. Now Warrior 2, all we're going to do is reach our arms out to the side, and our left toes are going to have to pivot out, straight out towards the long edge of our mat. The right foot doesn't really change. So my right knee is exactly the same. My left toes just turn straight out. So now my right heel is lined up with my left heel or my left instep. Right knee is still bent, arms out to the side, kind of like you're surfing on your yoga mat. Inhale here. As you exhale, bend a little deeper into your right knee. Maybe you have to work that foot out a little wider. Just do one more breath there. I know it's burning, mine is too. Great work, everybody. Go ahead and straighten the right leg, relax the arms, and we're going to prepare for Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. And that's a balancing pose. So what we're going to do is start to rotate our body, our gaze back forward to the front of our mat. You could even walk your feet a bit closer together. We want our right foot still in front. And I'm going to try to project most of my weight forward onto that foot, trying to lift the left foot off the ground. So just doing this kind of arabesque move, that works. If you'd like to, you could reach your hands up overhead, out to the side, or back towards your hips, kind of like you're flying. And as you start to tip forward, that's where, a lot of the challenge comes in. We don't want a straight right leg, we want a straight left leg. Nice work, everybody. Try to turn your left toes, that's the flying foot, down towards the floor. That's hard. That's the alignment. All right, whenever you've had enough, come on to standing. Oh my gosh, my right leg is really on fire here. So now we are kind of, facing maybe a different way, but what we're going to do is do the other side. So if you've been turned around on your mat or anything, don't worry about it. That's the great thing about the mat, is you can do it both ways. So let's do another sun salutation. Inhale here. Exhale, hands to your sides. Inhale all the way up to the sky. And exhale, forward folding. Great work, everybody. Inhale, lift up halfway, flatten your back. Exhale, forward fold. All right, so now we're going to get a little tricky. So usually we're towards the top side of our mat. So while we're here, I'm going to have you literally turn around towards the other side of your mat. That's what I mean by we're getting turned around on our mat here. And we're going to start to walk our hands forward so that we end up in this downward dog. And that's the patio way of getting into a downward dog. So we're going to reach our left leg up to the ceiling this time. Inhale. And step your left foot forward. Just more forward than your right. Don't worry about how far forward. Come on up to standing. And we're going to step that foot more forward if you need to. So if you didn't step that far and you want to step more, then your left foot is just going to kind of step forward a little bit more to widen up your stance. Remember, your right toes can be out at an angle, or your right heel can be up in the seat, up towards the sky. So it's up to you. You can stay on your toe, or you can turn your foot out. Now we're just going to bend into our left knee. And when I do that, I feel the stretch in my right hip flexor. I also feel it in my right calf muscle. And so you can leave your hands on your right thigh. You could bring your hands up to your heart. You could bring your arms out to the side or float the hands up overhead. So it's your choice, whatever works best for you. Inhale here. And exhale, soften a little deeper into that stretch. As I soften deeper, I have to roll up onto my right toes. My heel won't stay down. Let's take one more breath here. Legs are burning. Awesome work. Warrior two. Arms come out to the side. The back right heel is going to flip out, flip down. So that now my right toes are straight forward towards the long edge of my mat, towards the camera. And I've got my left knee still bent where it was. Arms out to the side like you're surfing on your yoga mat. Deepen into that left knee if you'd like. Keep those knees kind of pulled back and open. Last breath here. Come on up to relaxed. Soften your arms, straighten your legs. We're going to be moving into Warrior 3 with our left leg as our standing leg. So start to rotate your hips forward towards maybe the back edge of your mat. Maybe it's the front, maybe it's both. And so now I'm going to put all of my weight onto my left foot. My right foot is going to start to lift up off the ground. And that it might just be an inch that it lifts. It might be that you have good balance on this side and you can lift that foot higher. Now I'm going to get kind of technical. Arms can reach down for the floor, out to the side like you're flying, up overhead is hard. Hands reach back for the foot. You want to have both legs straight, and you want your flying foot, that's your right toes, this is hard, to be pointed down to the ground. I know most of us had our toes pointed out to the side. I know I did. It's hard. So whenever you've had enough, just step to standing. Beautiful, yes. On the Zoom screen, I can see a couple screens. Very good. Some of us lose our balance, and it's nice to have a wall close by. All right, so from here, let's do another half salutation. Maybe you want to do the full salutation. Let's just do a full one. At our second downward dog, we will come to hands and knees and rest. So choose. Do you want this to be the front of your mat, or do you want this to be the front of your mat? Because it can be both. Hands come together at your heart. Shoulders back, crown lifted, heels grounded. Inhale. Exhale, hands to your sides, Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold, however you like to get there, diving forward over your legs, soft legs. Inhale, lift halfway. Yes, exhale, soften your knees, relax your hands to the floor, bend your knees a lot. And step your feet back to downward facing dog. Roll up to the toes, roll your body forward over your hands. Inhale here, exhale, lower yourself down to the floor. Inhale, heart lift, cobra, up dog. Exhale, roll back over your toes to downward facing dog. We'll soften down, hands and knees, untuck your toes, and find either puppy pose with hips lifted and your heart melted, or child's pose. You could do downward dog too, that's up to you. But I'm coming to a little resting pose before we start laying on our back. All right, let's roll ourselves up, hands and knees. Let your knees walk over to one side of your mat so that your hip can drop down. And we'll swing the legs around and lay ourselves back supine on our mat. I always like to lay with my feet flat and my knees bent at first to honor that low back curvature. And we'll start to just rock the legs, bringing movement into our low back, into our hips again, very gentle, mindful movements. And there's lots of movement available here in this position, so if you need to, you could add movement to each leg asymmetrically. You could pick both knees up and pull them to your chest. Give yourself a couple more stretches here. One of my favorite stretches to end with is not one that I teach very often. In Yin Yoga, it's snail pose. In Yang Yoga, it's halasana or plow pose. So if you'd like to join me, something a little new, then we'll reach our feet up to the sky. I bend my knees to my chest because that's going to propel me backwards. So I'm going to kind of fling my legs up and help lift my low back off the ground. And my feet become my heavy anchor, so I'm going to start to let my feet drop down over my head. And they might not reach the floor, so don't worry if they don't. If they do, that's good, but you do want to keep looking up at the sky. Keep looking up at the ceiling, not at the screen. You want our neck to stay straight. And so if that's too much on your neck, too much on your back, too much on your legs, then honor that and come back down. But if it feels good, you could hang out here for another breath or two, supporting your back with your hands. When you're ready to come down, bend your knees, walk your hands, slide your hands down the outsides of your thighs until your back rolls down to flat. And you can massage your back into the floor, rocking it from side to side with the knees and the shins pulled towards the chest. Find your resting position for a couple moments of stillness. Feet flat, knees bent. Perhaps your knees would like to knock together, so you might walk your feet out towards the outer edges of the mat and let your knees come together. Maybe you have your feet together and your knees knock apart. They pull apart. Baddha Konasana. Maybe you would like to lay completely flat on the mat. So you have lots of choices. try a couple of them and see what serves you the best. Become mindful of your breath and how it moves in and out, the quality of your breath. The ease of your breath. Any resistance in your shoulders, your jaw, tension, let it go. Let yourself lay on the yoga mat, lay on the ground. At the beginning of our yoga session today, we created a mindful intention, a dedication for your practice today, a prayer, perhaps. And so now you can bring that intention, that prayer back to mind, that goal, that resolve. In yoga, we call it sankalpa. It's just a simple word, a goal, an intention, a resolve, something that you are striving for. Our thoughts become us. They become our world, so our thoughts are very powerful. And so this is how we can kind of infuse our practice and infuse our body with that mindful intention. Begin to start to move your feet once again, just rolling your legs inward, rolling them outward, wiggling through the thighs and the knees. Start to do the same with the arms. Start with your wrists, bend and straighten your elbows. And then let's start to reach our arms up to the sky overhead and reach our arms up over your head. So if you're laying on the ground, you'll be stretching from your hands to your toes, lengthening through your whole body, stretching side to side. And then we'll relax and walk our feet in towards the body so that the knees bend and the feet go flat. And you can roll to whichever side would suit you. Whatever side is calling to you today. Take a couple moments just laying on your side. When you're ready, you can start walking yourself up to a seated position. Take your time as you go there, adjusting as you go, moving slow so that you're always just aware of how your body's feeling, how your body is adjusting to the work, to the movements. And when you come back to center, start just kind of rolling through your upper body, clockwise, counterclockwise. Seeing how the hips, shoulders, neck is feeling. Low back. And we'll come to center for a moment and just sit for 3 deep breaths. Take a moment and thank your body. It's a very capable body. And even if, today feels like a mountain, maybe you climb a hill instead. So don't worry about, how far you can go. Just know that you made it here today. So thank your mind for getting you here and rolling out the yoga mat with me. Until next time, I bow to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me here today. Namaste.